Hello everyone, my name is Abzal. I'm 28 years old. Currently, I'm a student at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, Great Britain. I'm doing my master's degree in data science. And today, as part of the Take Me to the Tour campaign kicked off by Saraishyq Museum, I'd like to tell you about a little bit about the village and the museum itself, and specifically my impressions. Um, um, Most of my friends and my international colleagues, when they plan to travel down to Saraishyq, they ask several questions, and oftentimes it's like, is it quite far from the city? Is the road quality good enough to travel down to Saraishyq? Um, is there any restaurant to have lunch? And most importantly, they ask, is it worth traveling there? And for the last questions, I right away reply that, of course, that's definitely must go place. For the first ones, the road quality is quite nice, and you don't have to be concerned about that. Um, um, the city is located roughly about 45-50 kilometers away from the city of Atral, and that's not quite far. With the very good road quality. And but unfortunately, speaking of the restaurants, there are no restaurants. But at the same time, I'm quite sure if the one of the locals gets to know that you're a foreigner and trying to find some place to have lunch, he definitely will invite you to his place. But anyways, keep in mind that there is no restaurant over there. Saraishyq village is quite small and green village, located at the right bank of the river of Jaiq. Um, and most importantly, the village is famous of its nice and people who are famous with their hospitality, and that's understandable because tens of thousands of tourists visit Saraishyq village every year, and these people just got used to it. Um, um, Specifically speaking of the memorial complex and the museum, um, I'd immediately say that you don't have to be chasing the uh, beautiful, expensive artifacts over there because most of the expensive and valuable artifacts are taken to the central museums in big cities like Almaty and Astana. But in my understanding, this should not discourage you because you have to be chasing the history and sense of ancient life itself, and that's pretty much exciting. Uh, um, um, and the museum environment and the guide himself lets you dive deeply into that ancient city's life and to feel that life and its daily routine and interesting stories uh, about their lives, and that's pretty much amazing. For instance, one of the mysterious stories that I've been told was about Janibek Han's daughter, um, Sigurgul. And Han here refers to the word in English, ruler or the king. And the king had a daughter. She was very beautiful and quite young. Um, she used to own an incredible and artificial lake with real swans over there. She used to travel on her golden boat and feed these swans. And she was so beautiful that all the people in the city gathered along the lake and just to watch her feeding the swans. And this story is pretty much exciting, and Guy tells it very interestingly. But unfortunately, she was killed by a deadly disease when she turned 16 or 17, and her father was deeply depressed. He was sad, and he asked to his close and most trusted 40 people to bury her body with all the expensive jewelry and the golden boat as well in like incognito place. And when they did that and got back to the city, he just cut off their heads and he just took their lives. And after that, nobody knew where the exact location of remains. Um, uh, Ever since, no one knows, and all the many archaeologists from the Soviet Union and modern archaeologists, they're trying to find the exact location of the remains, but so far it was unsuccessful. What about the story about the sewage system? That's not a story but fact. The Saraishyq village back in 14th century had the sewage system that operated quite successfully and brought clean water to each house of the city. And that's pretty much amazing because uh, for you it might be usual in 21st century, but in Kazakhstan I'd say not all the villages can have that privilege in 21st century. And these and other, including Saraishyq by the way, these and other incredible stories are awaiting for you in the museum, the memorial complex itself. And that's pretty much amazing. So please do not hesitate to Google the words ancient city of Saraishyq, and afterwards, please, I truly encourage you to give a visit to share my emotions. All the best and enjoy your trip.